What's going on there, guys? We're back with another one. Have to talk about this Kyren Lacy tragedy a little bit more, and this thing is just getting worse and worse with every piece of information that comes out. Now we have Ryan Clark, who is a LSU alum as well, speaking and chiming in on everything surrounding this. Now we see that Kyren Lacy was innocent the entire time, but he was being portrayed as someone who had caused an accident that took a veteran's life. Well, when we see the footage, we see Kyren way behind the wreck, and there was a few cars in front of him. So there's no way he could have been responsible for that. But, being uninvited from the NFL draft and seemed like everything that he had worked for was taken away, and not taken away rightfully so, but taken away based off a lie. The pressure was, too much for him. And ultimately, he lost his life back in April of this year. So let's get into what Ryan Clark had to say. For those that didn't see everything I showed in my earlier video, I'm going to show you guys that where a police officer tried to railroad one of the witnesses who was saying the woman caused the accident. He was trying to get that witness to say something totally different. Also, I'm going to show you Kyren Lacy and how far away he was from the accident, how far behind the actual accident he was.
It was already sad and tragic when I thought he died under the weight of handling the guilt that he unknowingly played a part in someone losing their lives. It's even more tragic that I know he died as an innocent man who knew he was innocent, but was dealing with the consequences of someone guilty of what he had been accused of. And let's be clear, Kyren Lacy is innocent, but on December 17th, two people lost their lives. Obviously, Herman Hall, and condolences and prayers to his family, because this man fought in two Vietnam wars, and the very thing he fought for, right, which was the rights and the privileges and the due diligence of the courts as it pertains to American citizens, didn't even happen in his death. They didn't even honor him that way. It was true lies. It was true railroading. It was true framing. It was Tyler Werner, the state police, who was coaching witnesses into telling them or into saying that it was Kyren's car involved in the crash. All he saw was a young black man, right? He didn't see Kenny, and he didn't see Candace's son. He didn't see a brother. He didn't see a teammate. He didn't see a boyfriend. He didn't see somebody who truly was a part of the community. So they stole his joy, they stole his career, and eventually they took his life. And so now it's about what happens to give his family justice. Because this doesn't give them peace, right? This is exactly the evil and the hate we talk about. It isn't just about rhetoric. It isn't just about words. It isn't just about policy. It isn't just about agenda. This is the true racism and the true hate that takes away lives. And we got to see it right in front of us. And we're having this conversation because Kyren Lacy was a star football player from LSU. How many other young kids, young black people has this happened to that we will never hear their story? Yep. And I repeat, Kyren Lacy is innocent. Tyler Werner is a criminal. That's a criminal. And so now as we move forward, we have to figure out, how do we keep this from happening again? We have to figure out, how do we continue to keep Kyren Lacy's image and legacy alive by continuing to mention that every time we say his name, Kyren Lacy was innocent. But that won't bring him back. They'll never see their baby again. They'll never see their brother again. They'll never see their boyfriend again. They'll never see their teammate again. And you can't change that. And the pain that these people have to deal with over again, knowing that he was targeted, is what makes me the saddest. And so to Kyren's family, to Herman's family, to all the people who lost their lives on December 17th, all of my prayers and condolences. But justice needs to be served, and it needs to be served loudly.
So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, your address. Don't worry about any of that. just right here. If you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, maybe my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what's happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? Right. And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did, in fact, pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles.
Man, I can't imagine what the Lacy family thought whenever they seen this video. It goes against everything that was told to them, told to everyone, that Kyren Lacy was somewhat involved. The thing that makes me most sick to my stomach is how he was able to come to a complete stop behind the accident. No screeching stop or anything like that. He was a good distance behind all that took place. And so for him to not have anything to do with the accident is one of the more bizarre things that have come to the forefront. Obviously, people get done wrong like this all the time. But this was one of the most bizarre things that I believe I've seen for someone of his stature. It almost seemed like that officer had it out for him some type of way. Talking about you got to find that Charger. It was the guy in the Charger, green Charger. It was probably one of the notable cars, but that was a lot of profiling going on for you to assume that it was him. Kyren Lacy would have been a first, second round pick. His family would have gotten to enjoy watching him, live out his dream, most importantly, for something that all of them probably played a part into helping him get to where he's at. A lot of his close-knit family, and they know how much it meant to him to be able to play at the highest levels. Already doing it at the collegiate level at LSU, and was going to the NFL. You see how Malik Neighbors is playing now, and and that's why Malik has something to say earlier today too. He played with Kyren at LSU. But yeah, man, just looking at this, it's like, what's really going on in this world as far as we see this, and this is making somewhat news because it's Kyren Lacy. How many everyday people are getting railroaded like this and getting done like this and caught up in something that they had absolutely, positively nothing to do with, and they're making a person just fall on the sword or bite the bullet for, for their narrative that they want to push. This is sad, man. This is one of the more sad stories, and to see him leave this planet from a self-inflicted wound because of something he didn't do and the pressure that comes with that, it shows how people can go into a dark place, man. Especially, we have to get these type of things right. There was no reason for this young man to have to get uninvited from the NFL draft, have his life basically stripped from him, and him not being able to live out his dream based off of something that was completely fabricated. Whew. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.